This is Louie Michaelson at Business Talk Radio. We have a very special guest speaker on today from Avon, Connecticut. She's the founder and CEO, Ellen Palmer Wellness, certified holistic health and life coach, and epigenetics specialist. So, tell us a little bit about yourself, why you do it, how you do it.
Fantastic. I am an epigenetics specialist, and basically what that means is I understand how life influences what happens in our body. I won't get too deep into the science, but with that, I feel really lucky to be able to help people in a variety of different ways. We're a wellness company that's focused on helping people live their ideal life with optimal health, happiness, great relationships, and success. And we do that by using science and spirituality to help people first really get clear about what they want for their life and what's been blocking them, which I find is a really important part of growth. So we do that in a variety of different ways. We use genetic testing, gut health testing, food sensitivity testing to really access what's influencing a person's health and their energy. And then we use coaching and value assessments and other tools to get clear on how a person thinks and who they are at their core. And when we know that, we then have the foundational information to help them create their unique blueprint for thriving. I find that a lot of people are using a lot of general and generic strategies to feel better, but each of us is so unique and needs something different to express thriving. And that's from the foods we're eating to have more energy or to clear up daily symptoms or chronic conditions like diabetes or anxiety or heart disease, to then implementing daily strategies such as mindfulness or journaling, meditation, grounding, and so many more natural tools to keep people on track, to have that better health, and to have a greater sense of self and deeper connections. So essentially what we do is we teach people how to take care of their mind, their body, and their spirit, to live the ideal forever and not just to meet a short-term goal. And we work with individuals at our location in Connecticut, and we also work nationally and globally through using what's become so popular on Zoom to connect with people all over. And I also get to speak at conferences and organizational events, and I also provide programs within companies to support their employees. You know, I feel fortunate to work with folks in every walk of life, at every level of business. I work with a lot of high achievers, and it's interesting what's happening now. Folks are tapping into a deep reservoir of compassion that they have for their employees if they're running organizations. And it's not that they didn't have it before. It's just they've had to dig deeper and really find ways to connect and hear their employees and keep them engaged and do business in a way that's really compassionate, understanding that people's economic conditions have changed. People's access to funds is different. And so leaders, I find this really exciting. Leaders are really engaging with the workforce in a different way, which makes me really hopeful. You know, I'm an optimist for sure. I'm also a realist, and I just think that connection, human connection through compassion and through awareness and understanding is what's going to shift business in our country for sure, but also globally. So I think it's a really exciting time in business. I know it doesn't seem it right now, and I've been talking to a lot of leaders off the ledge in just helping them integrate their own self-care, their own self-awareness, so they can show up and be really strong and effective leaders and pivot in this time in our lives, because it's never been done. So there's no real model for it. And it's exciting to see how people are really showing up differently. And again, just showing up with more compassion, which I find is a great model for business.
And you're changing people's lives, and that's just wonderful.
Well, thank you, and I feel really honored to do this work, and I think it all comes from a unique perspective, and we all have one at one time in our lives, and this might be the awareness that other folks are coming into that changes their trajectory into optimism. And if I go back, like why I even pursued this profession to begin with, it was that I was never comfortable as a kid. I had digestive issues and hormone imbalance and all these random symptoms that no one could ever get to the root of. And so I took prescriptions and had procedures and surgeries, but I never felt great, which then ultimately ended up by affecting my mental wellness. And flash forward 15 years after that, my son was born with issues and had to have surgery on his second month's birthday. And, that was my trauma like people are experiencing now. And so that trajectory sent me on this quest outside of traditional medicine to really research the root cause of issues. And I learned how to integrate that with integrative and functional medicine to really get well and to integrate these different parts of who I am, mind, body, and spirit. And so I ended up by leaving my corporate career to get well, and I ultimately went back to school for holistic nutrition and life coaching and found this perfect combination for health, happiness, and success, integrating all these different sciences. And so for me, my trauma then is, it looks different from what people are feeling right now, but people are feeling a lot of trauma. And this may send folks into their own healing journey or mindset journey, which takes them to the other side. So I feel fortunate that I've already experienced that, so I can hold a place for people as they're going through what they're going through now and help them more easily integrate strategies so that they can have the life that they want.
Do you have anybody, while you were going through all of this schooling and education and classes you had to take, anybody that inspired you, that made you want to do this?
It's interesting. I guess I would have a two-part answer to that. So I was inspired when my son became sick. So I was sick off and on my entire life and had lots of surgeries and prescriptions and procedures. But when he got sick, that's really when I took action. So really, I have to give credit to our son Matthew, who really just inspired me to go on this journey of personal healing and healing him and our family, and even pursuing a career outside of my corporate experience. I always thought I wanted to be in big business and felt fortunate to be able to do that. But then once I knew what I knew, it was really hard to go back to what I was doing and not help other folks navigate this really, really tricky and complicated path to wellness. And so he was the original inspiration. And then throughout my education and entrepreneurial endeavors to set up a practice, there's people that I just loved learning from. And so Dr. Mark Hyman has always been someone, he was one of our teachers in nutrition school, and that's someone I've always followed. Deepak Chopra, I loved his existential thinking and finding a way to explain it in a way that made sense, and Louise Hay. And so I never had a mentor, but there are people that definitely influenced me. I think my favorite book, this may sound cliche, but my favorite book is The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz, and The Fifth Agreement by his son. And it's such simple teachings, but it's guided me through everything that I've done, including really drawing skill from my corporate experience to be an entrepreneur and eventually help set up a nonprofit where we make food for families that are going through a health crisis, and we use youth volunteers. So the Healing Meals Community Project has just been a great way to integrate all of the things that I've been inspired to through the different people that I've followed. And incidentally, it's really interesting, not having a mentor growing up, it has made me keenly aware of the value of mentorship. And I feel really fortunate to mentor several young adults into their careers and into their lives and help them integrate that in an easier way. And I really believe in the model. I think that's one of the reasons why I think we started our nonprofit, was to honor youth and to give them a path for education and really to feel a deep sense of pride. And so long story short, yes, I believe in the model, and I have been inspired throughout time, and I love to inspire others who are seeking out this work or just having a different experience in life. And it's I feel fortunate that in the way that I have my practice and I have my company, we get to focus on the whole person, which I do think includes finding out what people are inspired by and plugging them in with ways to stay inspired. We we really focus on three important, I guess I'll call them concepts. And that is really that we focus on the whole person. The mind, the body, and the spirit are intricately linked. And you are all three all the time. And earlier you were talking about folks that aren't really finding the positivity right now, and they're not thriving as many of us in the healing arts are. And I believe that's because they haven't had this awareness yet. They haven't had a chance to build the skill around integrating these very three important parts of who we are. Together, the mind, body, and the spirit are what's creating a great life or a life where someone's struggling. And think of it this way. If you're only focusing on one aspect of your life, maybe that's your body. Maybe people aren't, moving about the planet the way that they wanted, and they're really focused on their physical form. Life's going to feel unbalanced, and folks are going to feel like they're working really, really hard to have success or comfort and ease. Think of that as a unicycle bike where you only have one wheel. You're really working super hard to stay upright and not fall over. You don't have anything else to rely on except your energy and your focus. But when you focus on two things, I'll integrate the mind and the body now of the three of who you are, you're more balanced. But it still requires a lot of extra energy, and you may not feel stable or complete. I liken it to whack-a-mole. I talk about this a lot when I do my public speaking. It's like you get one aspect of your life figured out, and then something else pops up for you to deal with. And that's like maybe your career was going great, and then the pandemic hit, and then boom, you knock that down, and then now your health is challenged. Or maybe your health was doing great, and now your business isn't doing great. And so when you only have been trained or have the skill to understand the mind and the body, you're going to work really, really, really hard to feel stable. And so when you incorporate that third piece, the spirit, and by that, it's just the essence of who you are. It's really what you believe is your spirit. You have a balanced foundation to move from powerfully. So think about when you were a kid and you were on your big wheel or your tricycle, something with three wheels. You felt stable. You were sturdy. You were close to the ground. You had all of the power to just bomb around on the three-wheeler. You had total comfort. You had three equal energies to balance on, and you could go anywhere. You could do anything. And so I think what's interesting about this time is that we come into the awareness that we're more than just one part of who we are. We are these three things, and we love helping people integrate all three, mind, body, spirit, for fulfillment and peace and ease and energy, so they can be successful financially, professionally, and personally. And so this time, more than ever, it's time to focus on the whole person. And another concept or tenet that we talk about and work with folks on is that the body is brilliant. It knows exactly what to do. It sends signals all the time when it's not getting what it needs. Think of it as the dashboard of your car. It will send you a signal. Maybe you're tired. Maybe you have Zoom fatigue. Maybe you're edgy and frustrated. That's a symptom of something that's going on in either your mind, body, or spirit. And the body's brilliant. It knows just what to do. It just needs the basic building blocks to help you have the health or the happiness or the energy or the patience to enjoy your life. So knowing the exact science of what makes you thrive matters. So for anyone that's in a place of struggle right now, really invest in knowing your unique science. Understand your food sensitivity testing, understand personality and where you feel blocked, because knowing that gives you the awareness to build skill, which leads me to my third and final concept that we talk a lot about with people, and I think it applies really dramatically right now, is that you're not broken. The world is not broken. Your life is not broken. To have a happy, healthy, and successful life and planet, it's really built on knowing the very specific science of who you are and having the skills. It's just skill building to fuel your body the right way, to fuel our planet the right way, to fuel your mind and your spirit with the right food, water, energy, habits, so that we can feel great and minimize or reduce the stress that we're all under, and to be successful personally and professionally. So it's really all about skill building. We make it a character flaw. We have judgment. We blame people. really what we need to get down to is just some very foundational skill building and get less caught up in being broken or having the world being broken and really focus on what it's going to take to feel on track and to have the energy and the ease for people to collaborate and have compassion for one another and move forward. None of which, by the way, we learn in school, and we haven't traditionally valued it. So as we were saying earlier, we're just coming into this really cool time where it's being valued more than ever. Or I should say it this way, we're being invited to value it more than ever and learn a really unique skill set so that we can all thrive. I have a website. It's www.ellenpalmerwellness.com, and from there, my contact information is there, and you can also reach out and set up a consultation.
Wonderful. This is Louie Michaelson at Business Talk Radio. We have been talking to the very compassionate Ellen Palmer. Get in touch with her at our website, www.ellenpalmerwellness.com.